looking for all the baddies all over the world. Ladies, where my baddies at? I'm bad, you bad. Way bad. Where my baddies at? I'm bad, you bad. Way bad. Where my baddies at?
Welcome to the Not So Secret Lives podcast. I'm your host, Shan.
And I'm your host, Karina.
And today, this is our first episode.
Yes.
So it's not structured at all. We tried to do one that was a little bit more structured.
Yeah. We decided to kind of do a getting to know us introduction.
Yes.
This is how we talk. This is kind of just how we shoot the shit all the time. And we realized that doing it in such a structured way we didn't like. We were our most authentic selves and wanted to do one this way, especially our first one.
Right. And it was fine. It wasn't that it wasn't fine. It just felt scripted.
It felt scripted.
What? I don't know. It's a weird thing to try to explain.
So that's why we're doing this one.
Yes.
Cheers.
But cheers, babe. We are going to just start off by talking about dating because it just seems like besides our kids and besides work and, other random things, that just seems to be the most consistent thing in our life right now.
I mean, it's all we talk about.
It is a lot of what we talk about because we're in the thick of it. We're like doing the dating thing and we're enjoying it. And I just got off dating apps because I'm like, really trying to focus on
Did you really? I thought you were lying.
I did. No, they are gone, deleted, done, not paused. They are gone.
Deleted.
Gonzo.
I thought maybe just paused. My goodness.
They are gone. I'm so hyper focused on getting this out. And it's fine because I have so many stories. I could do this podcast for the rest of my life on the stories that I have in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm. And you'll get back on, let's be honest.
I will, yes, for sure. But I was like so just like, I just felt like I couldn't. Also, I was in a slump. I don't like the slumps.
Yeah.
Because I usually have, and this isn't just me, okay? This is every woman.
Yeah.
Or every man or whoever.
You go through phases.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
I was in like a fucking dry spell from hell and I was not matching with cute dude. It was like I had run through every cute dude over 6'2" in Utah.
Do you think it was because after the guy that you kind of caught a little feelings for and then it didn't end up working out, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like after something like that where you are kind of putting yourself out there and you're doing it and then that happens and then you just kind of feel like meh. Like not comparing him to other guys, but just like you put so much of yourself into that for that little amount of time, and now it's just like, ugh.
Well, but honestly, it was so exciting that it almost made me more excited to try to find that again.
Really?
You know what I mean? It's like that again, that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
And so I was like
find it?
looking for it and I couldn't find it and it pissed me off because it's the first time in like 3 years, besides the relationship I was in, that I wasn't getting like these people that I was actually attracted to or like had things in common with or whatever.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I got so desperate. I went on a date with a guy that was 5'11". I'm 5'9". Okay, let me preface. I am 5'9". It's hard for me to go on date with guys that's 5'11", especially when I show up and I'm looking him in his eyeballs when I'm wearing Converse.
That's when he's not really 5'11", babe. Men out there, please don't lie about your height, especially to a tall girl.
Yes.
I feel like men that are 5'10", 5'11" can get away with not being that tall when they are dating shorter girls.
Yes.
When they are dating girls that are our height, they can't get away with it.
I totally agree.
Because between you and I, you wear heels sometimes, but I wear heels almost on every date. So I'm not only 5'8".
I wear them on my dates.
Yeah, but when I go on dates, like I'm like 5'10", 5'11" sometimes. So if you're not your true size, I'm gonna know.
Right. Could you imagine if I would have showed up to that date wearing heels?
It would have been hilarious.
I would have been able to kiss him on the top of the head.
Oh, puppy.
Well, but here's the thing. He's like this super buff, super hot.
Oh.
Navy SEAL.
Oh, I remember you telling
him.
Like,
so hot.
Mm-hmm.
I was sad.
Did the date go
I was a sad puppy. You know what? Oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you this. It went really well. It was a lot of fun, but I knew it wasn't going anywhere because he had stated like, I'm just looking for fun.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of set the premise for the tone. Yeah.
Isn't that funny how depending on that and like, so depending on what they put in their profile for that, and then the few text exchanges that you have, you can kind of tell what you're going into the date for. Like, if it's for fun, I feel like I'm going to have a completely different demeanor than if they're wanting to actually go on dates. And not that I'm on one thing either way. I think both you and I are on this journey where if we find the person that we want to be with for a little while, we will, and it'll happen organically.
Yes.
But if this person is just wanting to go out and have fun, like we're all about that too.
Right.
And we can just put ourselves into a different mindset when we're going out on these.
And again, I'm like good either way because I have on, okay, well, sorry, back to the date really quick. So I am just my total complete self. Yeah. Like I'm a little bit promiscuous. Like if I know it's just for fun, like I know, not a little bit. I'm pretty promiscuous if I know it's just for fun. If that is the tone of the date, I will talk about sex and whatever. And so we did. And then later that night, he gave me his phone number before he left. And then I texted him later that night and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Because I didn't have my kids. I was like, hey. I never heard from him. You know why? Because I was taller than him. I guarantee it.
Oh my God.
I guarantee it because it was fun and it was fine. And he was like,
good vibes and everything.
Everything was great. He called my phone because he wanted me to have his phone number.
That had to be it then. Isn't that
as we were walking out? I didn't even ask him for his number because I was just like, it's not fucking, it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah.
And then he does that and then you don't hear from him?
Yeah.
See, when guys say that they're not intimidated when the girl is taller than him, okay, sometimes some guys like it. Some guys it's like a little kinky thing for them, right? Or a kink in and of itself. Yeah. But when some guys, it's not their kink and you are taller than them, I'm sorry, but they don't like it.
Well, and I don't
like it.
I don't like it.
No.
I'm not a fan. But I'm also a very intimidating person in general. I'm very straightforward. Yes. I don't like beat around the bush.
I hate that we have to call that intimidating. I think that's just confident, but
yeah, but okay. But confidence can be incredibly intimidating.
Yeah.
Even with dudes that are confident with us, we're like, oh my God, what? I feel a little weird now and insecure a little bit because you're so confident. Like, I guess it depends on the guy. It totally does. It really does.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a forever mystery. Maybe so.
We'll never know.
You know me. We met at a little random coffee shop. Reach out to me. Let me know.
You don't want to. Oh, you want to know why?
Yeah, I just,
okay. I was like, well, wait, you don't want to date him.
No. I more just am like so curious.
I'm always curious for the reason of not getting back or like
texting. Like I want to reach out and be like, what was it? I just need it. I don't care to fucking talk to you again. Just like, what was that? What was that?
It'd be amazing if we were all that honest. Like I ghosted you because ABC.
I have done that. When anybody who reaches out to me and is like, okay, well, I've done my due diligence and I've like reached out to you 100,000 times and I don't ever hear from you. I'm like, listen, babe.
You were so good. I'm always like, I'll just either keep ghosting them or like I'll come up with some silly excuse. But I wish I could be that straightforward. I need to be better about that.
You don't. That's normal.
It is normal. But I feel like I would kind of want to hear it. So why shouldn't I tell them?
Right? Yeah. Well, but not everyone is like us. Like they can't take it and like
criticism,
grow from it, I guess. Yeah. Like I wouldn't even grow from it. I would just be like, cool, that's not your style.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And that's the thing about dating is like, not everyone that you're going to go on a date with, you will like. And that's the whole point of dating is to find out what you like and what you don't like. And I feel like people get their feelings hurt way too much.
Oh,
I did at the beginning of dating. I was like, why don't they like me? But it's like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I want to be someone's fucking whiskey shot.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to be. I don't want to be your cup of tea.
No.
I don't want to be like cool and calming. I want to be like wild.
We want to be wild and free and
like get your blood pressure going.
yeah.
Be like, what is this girl gonna do next? I don't know. And like,
it's a mystery.
So exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to be like incredibly confident. But again, like, who's to say who is doing the right thing and who's doing the wrong thing in dating?
No, that's what I'm saying. Nobody is.
Right.
That's the whole point.
There's not everyone have to do what's in your heart or what feels good to you.
And I think,
because don't fucking change when you're dating.
Right. That's the thing. Going back to when I first started dating, maybe not for you, but for me, I was kind of, I think, coming from 2 long-term relationships, kind of coming from a point of being like, okay, I want this guy to like me because of what he wants and what he likes.
Yeah.
And I realized very quickly, that's not working for me. I'm dating for me. I'm dating to find a person who is going to like long term and dating somebody who's going to like me for me. So why not be my purely authentic self? I mean,
right.
It's gotten easier and better for me to be that way. I mean, I told you the story of the date I went on where our first date, I mean, I have a thing about my feet where I have to wash my feet when I get home. And I don't usually put that out there to anybody. But this first date, I was like, hey, can I go wash my feet in your bathroom? And he was like, cool. And I was like, oh my God, that was so weird. But also like, and I know a lot of you are going to be like, okay, that's way too TMI. But I'm to the point right now where I'm like, if you're gonna think it's funny or it's cute, the person that I'm dating, like, then you're the person for me. If you're gonna feel like weird or set back by me set back by me doing that, then maybe you're not the person for me. I'm fucking quirky, and I need to be quirky with the person that I'm with. And yes, confidence. Like, that took a lot of confidence for me to actually like say that and to not be like sneaky about it, trying to do that without him knowing. Like, no, he knew full well what I was doing, and I'm like,
cool, good.
No, it was so good, and it was great.
That's why, like, even you know this about me, like, and to that point of confidence, like, I will go on a date with someone. I like to be at home.
Yes.
Home is my thing. I don't like to leave my space. I love being at home.
You do.
Yes, I do.
It's so amazing.
Thanks,
I
babe.
love it. You're welcome.
I love that you love it, because I always make you come here. Even though you live 13 seconds from me.
We live 2 blocks away from each other, if that. Maybe it's
I can
a block.
see her building from my house.
Yeah.
So that's like usually on like a second date or whatever, if I'm not feeling it, I'm like, if you want to see me, you can come to my house. We'll watch a movie, we'll order food, whatever. And you have personally witnessed this.
Yeah.
I am in sweatpants and a hoodie and my hair is up and I have no makeup on. Like, that for me took years to accomplish. But I just got to a point where I was like, listen, this is me. This is literally me.
And you've inspired me. A lot of my second dates, if they get that far, usually it doesn't get further than a first date.
That is exactly right.
Because we have become so picky, I usually know after a first date if I want to see that person again, which is crazy because before I would go on multiple dates and like try and make a freaking square fit into a circle, right? Like, now it's like, nope. Yeah, I know what I want. I know what I don't want. It doesn't have to be anything bad. It's just that I don't vibe with you. And maybe you're feeling the same way and you're too scared to say it, but like, I'll say it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But yes, usually if there is a second date, it has been more of a comfortable one, which I really like.
Yeah.
Like, not getting dressed up, not going out to a nice dinner, but just kind of like chilling, maybe making dinner at home and just being in sweats, no makeup.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I think guys do too. I've heard it so many times from guys.
I have
like, I love that you can just like be comfortable, not have any makeup on, feel confident. And I think that guys like that confidence in women.
I cannot agree more. I mean, when I go on a first date, I usually get dressed up. Usually. like 80% of the time.
Unless it's like a last minute thing where it's like, hey, come grab some coffee with me, and you're like out and about. You do. You get ready for the date. You get dressed up. You look fabulous.
Oh, thanks, bud.
You're welcome.
But other than that, like I'm so comfortable with being myself. And, you know, I actually hate to say this, but I've been thinking about it a lot. I have become so picky over the last year. I've always been picky, but most definitely more over the last year, to the point where I think it's like I'm harming myself almost because I'm not letting people in. I'm like taking the little tiniest thing that they do that I don't like, and I'm turning it into this huge thing.
Okay, so I can see both sides on that. I can see how you might be quote unquote self-sabotaging, not even self-sabotaging.
No,
maybe yes, in a little bit. You're being a little bit self-sabotaging.
Exactly right.
Like you're not giving them another chance to kind of see past the whatever little thing that they have. Because honestly, maybe not you, but everyone's a little bit nervous on a first date. And maybe like something happened where they did something and you're like, ooh, but that might not be them necessarily. Yeah. However, I think that we're so confident in what we know that we want that really is something that we don't want. And I think that is okay too. I think it's okay to nip it in the bud rather than wasting months or years of your life trying to see if that thing will go away. It's not going to go away.
No.
And I'm not the type of person who's going to try to change a freaking 40-year-old man that I'm dating, or even when we're dating younger people. Like, people are pretty much set in their who they are, and that's a beautiful thing, and we shouldn't try to change that, you know.
Well,
and I think it's okay to be picky on that point.
No, you're right.
I don't think it's self-sabotaging at that point.
What? No,
it's not.
But the thing, like, I have looked back on like people that I've gone on dates with. Okay, for instance, talks too much. Okay, I can't give any specific details, but the man would take me out to places. He did all of the right things.
Describe it.
Always wanted to. He's tall. He's 6'4", 6'3"
for you.
Yeah. Really buff. Like looks. He's really, really handsome.
Okay.
Has his shit together.
Love.
And there's like nothing wrong with him
except
that, like, sometimes I feel like I can get a word in. But everything else is perfect, right? Like,
well, and here's the thing.
And then I'm like, okay, well, I don't like that, so I'm not even going to try. Like, but again, I don't want to force anything.
Well, here's the thing about that, too, is you told me about talks too much on your first date. You told me that this was like a thing for you. That he was 6'3", he was gorgeous, he had his shit together, he had a good body. And you told me, he just really, really talked way too much on our date. And I said, well, you know, maybe it was because he was nervous or something.
Yeah.
Maybe give it one more date, which you did.
We had been on 3 dates.
Yes. So that's a good thing. You're doing your due diligence. You're giving it a second date thinking, oh, maybe it was just nervousness.
But again,
but right now, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not bad about being too picky now, because it's one thing that you saw on the first date that you didn't like.
That's true.
You gave it 2 more chances. You still don't like it. You're not being picky. This is a thing that you didn't like. You still don't like it. Move on.
I know.
And it's okay. It's okay.
It is okay. You're not wrong. But you know what my other problem is?
What?
I read too many smut novels.
We both do.
I read too many books of men who are obsessed with these women.
Was he obsessed with you?
He was obsessed with me. But it's more than like
that rugged.
Kill everyone that even looks in your direction because I'm like this big badass motherfucker. Because like, I will tell you my type. Okay, my type changes from week to week.
It does.
But the one thing that stays consistent always, I like a manly man.
Yeah.
I like big, rugged. I know that you will fuck someone up if it comes down to it, which granted, I'm 41. That's not going to happen. But just knowing that it could, that's exactly right. I want to know that I could just stand there and be like, yeah,
that's my man. You looked at me, so my man's kicking your ass right now.
Exactly right. and toxic as fuck and I don't care. But, or just like knowing that I could be in a room full of 100 beautiful women and my man is the only man there and all these women are throwing themselves on him and he can only hyper focus on me from across the room. Like, doesn't even notice that other women are even in the building. And then the sex part of these smut novels is like otherworldly. So, P.S. if there are any men listening to this, women, all of the women listening to this, tell your man to read a smut novel. Yeah, I have some recommendations. I will put them in the description. I have a lot.
I think the perfect one to start with for men and women, I think it is a perfect blend of what you said. Like, he's a manly man.
Ugh.
He like,
oh my God, please tell me it's A Touch of Darkness.
no, it's the one that we just read.
That like ruined me.
I know. He is like obsessed with her, is so manly. So like protecting too. I think the protecting of it, and I saw this video the other day, is
dominance that
it's not even
that masculine energy.
It's not even the dominance, it's the masculine energy. I saw this video the other day and this woman was saying, I want to be so much in my feminine and he so much in his masculine that we go anywhere and I do not have a thought in the world because I know that he is with me, that he is like protecting me, that he has my back
by you and in your hand or
like,
arm around you or
touching always. Yes, like he has to be touching you. He has to be holding you. Oh, I love that.
No, men
love that. And I think men, like you said, like, and I think that's a good one for them to read because, I mean, it has all the fun sex scenes, but then it also shows like just such a manly, confident man. And this woman in the book is not like this damsel in distress either. Like, she's a very independent, like strong woman. But she can so much respect him and be in her feminine with him and like feel good. Like, that's what we want, men. And I don't care any women listening to this that they're like, no, no. I'm a very sour. No, it is. But you're right. I shouldn't say that. But I feel like as a strong, independent woman, Right. I am like that in every aspect of my life, day to day, with work, with kids, with life, home life, with everything. And to have a man in my life be like, I got you. Like, I'm protecting you. You can feel safe around me. You can let your guard down around me. You can like, and a man fall into a puddle and like let me pick you up and like hold you is the best feeling in the world. It really is.
Like, and a man like taking care of you and not in a monetary way and like a like life way, just like emotionally and mentally is like such a beautiful thing. It really truly is. And I have been in a relationship like that. I was in a very long relationship like that. There were other things that clearly it didn't work out in our favor and I left, but when it was just he and I, he was incredibly masculine. There were these things that were just so incredibly perfect. He constantly just wanted to take care of me. He wanted to look out for me. And in my opinion, relationships should be 50-50, 100% of the time. Well, I mean, clearly there's going to be days when there's like 80-20 or like whatever, but you understand that for a majority of the time, it's going to be 50-50.
We got each other.
Yes, that's right. And it's just like trying to look for that 50-50 situation, which, you know, to me, it feels impossible now, right? And I just want to find that again. The men our age are so tainted and like I can't think of the right word.
Destroyed? Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Women have destroyed them.
True.
I know. Yeah.
I dated this guy for a half a second and I was super, super into him, the ginger.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like going good for a second. And then he became this like very whiplashy, like, oh, I've been broken in the past and now everything's blah and da da da. And I'm not ready. And I'm like,
the other thing, you have to find a guy who's like ready to date and ready to like be there and do the things. And if they're not ready, that's a whole different thing. It sucks.
it does suck.
And there was honestly a time when we weren't ready either.
No.
And
But well, even look at us now.
yeah,
We get into these situations where we become these like gooey, soft little creatures.
and I want to punch myself in the face.
Punch ourselves in the face and we start acting stupid. We get smitten. We get in our head.
Overthink.
Nothing changes. The dynamic with the person that we're talking to is still the same. But we
It's the
go
whole
to bed one night and we wake up in the morning and we're like, oh my God, he doesn't like me anymore.
It's the whole self-sabotage thing.
Yes.
It's the whole self-sabotage thing. Why do we do that?
It's called limerence.
Limerence.
Yes. Look it up. I will tag the video.
I just listened to it.
Person. Yeah, I made Karina listen to it. I stopped. I hit pause. It's basically your brain. You just said it perfectly. What did you say?
Well, I was saying it was kind of like a dopamine hit. You know, we get those little dopamine hits when we're on the apps and, ooh, cute, a guy likes us. But we're at the stage in our lives where, yeah, we'll get that little hit, but it doesn't hit big enough really because we don't let ourselves get there that much anymore because it takes a lot because we're picky and all the things. But then when it does really happen, and
which is the limerence thing that she's talking about.
It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, and we get that big hit, then we go into limerence.
Yeah, it is limerence, but it's basically it's like your brain is like playing tricks on you. You'll have
Your nervous system like goes into overdrive and like
haywire.
You start overthinking everything, and even though nothing has changed on the other person's part, we start overthinking everything that we're doing and almost self-sabotage it. And sometimes, for me anyway, a lot of times I have ruined what could have been a really good thing because I'm so in my head about it. And
I don't get that way as much. There have been times, but I don't also catch the feels very often.
I haven't lately. You've been like a really big inspiration for me in this realm.
I don't even know if I should say you're welcome because I feel like I'm dead inside.
Because before I was like, any guy that likes me, I like them because they just like me.
Yeah.
And that's not okay either. Because I shouldn't just like somebody because they like me. I should like them because I like them.
Yes.
And so now, when I actually do like a person, I start getting into my head. And it's not fun.
It's not fun. And I was there a couple weeks ago.
It's not fun to lean into it. It's not fun but you kind of have to because, again, we're dating. We're dating for long-term relationships. And
now at this point we are because we weren't for the longest time. And now we're finally to a point where we're like,
you kind of have to lean in and you kind of have to just let the things happen.
Yeah.
Still being our true, authentic selves. And it's so hard when you get the feels to do that because you almost start backpedaling or over like, why did I send that text message? Did it come across this way? And they're thinking nothing what we're thinking.
No.
And it's so crazy and it's such a train wreck.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's why right now I'm starting to like this guy. And like I told you this morning, I kind of just want to punch myself in the face. But I'm reeling it back. I'm realizing what I'm doing and I'm kind of going back to, okay, Karina, just be yourself, do your thing. That's why he likes you.
Right.
And just stay with it.
Yeah. And it's true. And this is the first time I think that you have done this. And I haven't been like, yeah, you're probably right. This is the first time I'm like, no, I think that everything is actually really good. Like things are.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he seems totally on your page in all of the ways.
He is totally on my page in a lot of ways, especially
in the X-rated version of the ways.
he is my wet dream come true.
It's so true.
We will just say that.
Yes. We won't get too into detail on
not today. Not today. Maybe in another episode. But everything that I've ever wanted in the bedroom,
yes,
he has given me. And it's so funny because that's why I'm in my head, because I like this guy. It's not even because like, oh my gosh, he's so sweet. It's like, no, he can do like, I mean, it is that too, but like finding somebody who's on my level with that stuff and then also on the same level with me on like conversation and intellectually and stuff. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, great. And
I know. It's
and now
really
I'm just
dynamic.
like, fuck. I'm fucked.
Well, and I love that for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It's such a great...
We'll see how it goes.
No.
It's still so very, very new. And we're both...
It is. And you're not... Neither one of you are wanting to be serious at this moment.
No,
like, it's the whole thing of like, you guys are...
And that's so
much
great, too.
And it is great.
Yeah.
It's really great for both of you. So I'm bummed out because last time I had sex that good was a 6-year-old Marine who lives across the goddamn country. So...
Oh man,
it's a sad day for the Shan. I'm sad. It's a sad puppy. Only because clearly he's a baby. It's not going anywhere. But like, come on.
Well, not only is he a baby, he lives
the fun bedroom time was so fun.
I know
he does, and it was hot. Like, I mean, he's got like this really sexy, manly job in the Marine Corps. And Marines are sexy anyway. But like that. Added to the pleasure I feel, and he's very far away. He actually messaged me today and was like, you should come and see me. And I'm like, I'm not fucking flying out to see you. He's like, you could kill 2 birds with one stone. You could see your kid and you could see me. Because they are on the same fucking Marine base.
Oh my God. Such a small world.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And I was like, you could fly out to see me. He's like, I'm not going to fly out just for that. And I was like, well, I'm not either.
Well, for sure. Like, you're expecting you to fly out for...
Well, his point was that I could see...
Oh, your son.
My son and him. And I was like, no. That's not going to happen.
Oh, my God. Can we talk about that, too, honestly, with dating? Is the reciprocation of time and driving. So here's the thing.
That's hard.
We live outside of our city.
We do. By a minute.
It's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But to be honest, in dating, I know that this is going to be a different thing for you than it is for me. Because a lot of times, I don't know how you do it, my love. You do. The guys will usually come out to you. And
it's because I put out. No, but okay, but maybe for real, like, even if they know that I'm not going to them, they'll still like... do their...
They will, because they're my gorgeous goddess of a friend.
They will like drop everything and come out to see, which is amazing. I love that for me.
I love that for you too. I guess so what I'm saying is if you're seeing a guy consistently, not exclusively, but like consistently, do you think it is fair for, if you live far away, to take turns?
I think it should be 50-50.
I think so too.
I don't think it should be one-sided.
No. I think honoring each other's like schedules and stuff, sometimes it might not always be like that.
Yeah.
But if it's more convenient,
compromise.
Yeah. If it's more convenient one day for them to come out to you or for you to come out to them, I think that's a good thing. But I think if they are always like, you should come to me, you should come to me, you should come to me, that's not okay.
No.
But I think compromising, taking turns, meeting in the middle.
Pot calling the kettle black now, though, that I'm saying it out loud, because I never go to anyone, very, very rarely.
Well, because people listening to this podcast are also not going to be in such a close vicinity. I think in a lot of states, like, we're lucky that our commute is really only 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes people that are dating in other states, their regular commute is about 40 minutes.
That's true. Yeah.
And so taking turns... You should not always be coming to their house.
No.
And they should not always be coming to yours. That one guy that I was dating, And he didn't even realize it at the time.
Oh,
I realized.
yes, you did. And then I got pissed for you.
Yeah, it was a point of contention for me.
It did become a point of
That it was never really a conversation. He just always had me come out to him.
and he just always assumed that was what was going to happen. And
I
you
think-
have your own place. It's not like you live in your parents' basement.
I know. And I think at the beginning, it was convenient from where I was traveling from work, because I had work in Salt Lake, that it was convenient. But then it became the weekends where not so convenient for me, right? You're not even offering to come out. You're not even offering to do this. So that to me was kind of an ick thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like the ick for me was already there, and it was kind of done after that.
It's true, because like once you, I like after having conversations with you, once you realized that, and
Because I really did like him. I liked him a lot.
Yes, but and it was that also that night that we were having a girls' night for our birthday.
Yeah.
And it was after dinner. We were all just kind of bar hopping around a little bit, just like hanging out. It was very casual.
I was supposed to meet up with him.
You were supposed to meet up with him that night, and you were like, "Hey, come and hang out with me and my girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like, it's super fun. It's very cash. We're just getting drinks." Like,
He was close.
and he was like, "No, I'm in bed. Come to me."
Well, he literally said, he's like, I'm sitting here waiting for you, because I was supposed to come to
I
him.
get that, but he also knew that it was a girls' night for you.
Well, here's the story. He didn't know. He thought it was going to be a birthday party for you, and I was supposed to come to him. It ended up being a surprise, also birthday for me.
Exactly right, yeah.
And I'm not about to leave my girlfriends
Right.
and go to some guy's house. I'm
Right.
sorry. So
I even offered to drive you after, and you were like, "Nope."
no,
Atta girl.
after I called him and I was like, hey, it turned out to be a surprise. I'm not going to leave my girlfriends. Do you want to come out, hang out for a little bit? We'll have a drink, and then we can both go back to your house, and I'll figure out my way back to my car in the morning for work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he was like, no. At this point, it was like 8:15.
Right.
It wasn't even late.
What?
And he wouldn't budge. And that's when I got the ick. And I was like, you won't even budge a little bit to come out and see me and get me and like make a little bit of a compromise. I come out to you every single time.
Yeah.
And it was after that that I was
That's just
just like,
another thing you
no.
can put on your list to know, like, this is something I don't like.
Yeah.
And again, don't ever feel guilty about asking this person who you are seeing, dating, whatever, to come and see you or meet you halfway, for God's sakes.
Oh, I know. Because like we weren't dating, but we
I mean, you guys had it going on for like
for a couple months.
months.
Yeah. It was
Which is a substantial amount of time considering us.
considering us and who we are. Like it was consistent. It was good. It was nice. I liked him. Like I don't like using the word picky anymore. It was things that weren't aligning with what I deserve.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
And I feel like it, especially in the dating world, and the dating world has become so tainted. Like, I hate the fact that like nobody wants to meet anybody out in the wild anymore for whatever reason. Like, women want men to approach them. Men are too afraid to approach women because of all of the shit that goes down with women, other women not wanting men to approach them because they're too feminist. And they're like, oh my God, this man's going to come up to me and tell me that I'm pretty and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, come on,
that.
get to fucking hell. Like,
some confidence.
Jesus.
Have to tell me how.
yes,
pretty I
that is exactly right. So you know as well as I do, when we are out into the wild, I just know that men are going to approach us because they're scared. For whatever reason, I will approach men. That's how I met my first ex-husband. Is because I'm not going to pass up on something that I think could be anything.
Good for you. Yeah.
Right? But then I feel like that once you get into dating someone or like seeing someone consistently, then we start to go back into these like really old, crazy, weird habits of like having expectations and not communicating what we want
Because we're being stupid.
because we're being stupid and we just expect this person.
But how can we expect it without communicating?
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
Because we either feel insecure about it and we just like assume that they're going to know what we want. but we're too insecure to tell them what we want. Not me, not you.
No.
In general.
Yeah.
And
I've come to the point in my life where I'm like, if I am going to ask you for something or tell you something that I like or want, and you don't receive it well, or you receive it as you don't like it, then you're probably not the person for me.
Yeah. You know what's so crazy? I actually had this conversation to that point. I had this conversation with someone the other day. They were talking about if I ever wanted to get married again. And I said, I don't care to get married again. I want to be with someone where it's like a marriage, like we're, doing the whole life thing together. I'm like, but marriage is not important to me. And I don't know that it ever was important to me. Like it should have been, because I never had, my grandma who raised me she never had a marriage while I was alive. My mom and dad were never married. My dad never remarried. Like it just wasn't a thing in my life where it felt like I needed it, I guess. So someone asked me, like, would you get married again? And I was like, I don't care to get married again. I'm like, however, if I'm with a partner and it's super important to them to have that happen, and I care enough about them, I would do it again.
Oh.
But to me, it's the same meaning as being like in a serious relationship. I don't feel like that once you sign a marriage certificate, that's it. Like there's not going to be any cheating, and there's not going to be any dishonest behavior, and there's not going to be any and there's going to be all this communication. It's going to be wonderful.
It's going to happen whether you're married or not.
That's exactly right.
It does happen. Yeah.
And so if I found a partner who that was super important to them and I loved them enough, I would definitely do it again.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's not important to me. But on the flip side, like I would want a ring. I would want them to wear a ring. Yeah. Because of the significance of it, right? Like it's almost like showing them off.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like even if it was just like a band for me, like it's just that symbol of like,
I belong to you.
That's exactly right. I was going to say that. Yes.
Yeah. I love that feeling too.
Yes. Belonging to someone and knowing that they're on that page with you. It's a really beautiful thing.
It is.
And just compromise in general is just so huge. Like when it comes to any part of a relationship, but like for me, I had never really thought about it before until I got asked that question. And I was asked by a person who I didn't even really like them. But I gave my honest answer because that is what felt right to me, you know?
And I think that's great.
And yeah.
So I've never been married. I've been in
I've been married and for the both of us, babe.
I've been in 2 long-term relationships, and it's so funny because with dating, I have kids with my second long-term relationship.
Yes.
And everyone's always like, oh, so when you guys got divorced? I'm like, I've never been married, especially in Utah, right? Like if you have kids, they automatically
think about Utah.
Yeah, they automatically assume like, oh, you've been married, and so I am almost like a unicorn in that sense.
It's true.
Where it's like I've never been married, but I have kids. I also had kids later in life in Utah terms, like in my mid-30s.
When people find out that I had Diz at 19 years old, they instantly ask me if I was Mormon. And I'm like, oh, my birth control pill means.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for as far as Utah goes, you did do it later on in life.
Yeah. But like the whole marriage thing, they're like, well, did you ever want to be married? And, thinking back on that time with both of those relationships, if they would have asked me, absolutely yes. I would have wanted to have that. But at the same time, I've had 2 long-term committed relationships that were like marriages, and I feel like it wouldn't have been any different. I don't know.
It hasn't.
But it's also the thing where for me
it's almost like a second honeymoon stage.
Right. But for me, never having experienced that, like I think in my head sometimes I'm like, oh, fun. Would it be fun to experience a wedding and a marriage? Like, especially the wedding, not even the relationship, because I feel like I've been married twice. But it's like the wedding part, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me, the person that I am, I mean, you've heard me talk about this. How would I ever want to be married? Well, I would want a very, very small reception and all of that money going towards a wedding. I would just want to I'd want to spend the money to go to the Super Bowl.
That's exactly
because
right.
that is how much money I would have spent on a wedding.
I know.
And I would remember the Super Bowl and be way more excited about going to the Super Bowl than having a big fucking wedding that I would never remember.
No, and the thing that
And I will always remember going to the Super Bowl.
I mean,
I will.
you will.
I'll have way more fun.
Football freak, but
Or would I have way more fun? Was that bad to say? But I would have more fun going to the Super Bowl than at my wedding
with your significant other. But
yeah, but here's the thing.
yeah. The thing I've always told you about getting married, I'm always like, I'm going to plan it. I'm going to do the whole thing. You don't have to even, and you're like, no. And I'm like, yes. And you're like, no. And I'm like, yes. Like, you have to experience this. And you're like, I don't want to. And I'm like, I want you to.
It's not like a thing that's ever been on my bucket list, I guess. However, I am not opposed to saying yes. But if I did say yes,
well, then what if your significant other was like, I really want a big wedding?
I would compromise and we would have a smaller wedding. Is that not compromise?
I mean,
that's not compromise.
Amen, girl. Amen. Amen. We'll compromise and do it my way.
We can have a really big wedding and have a destination wedding where it's so expensive that it would become a super small wedding because not everyone could come.
I love that for you because I will be there.
The people that I would really want to be there would be there. That's the thing that I also don't love about weddings is like, I don't want a fucking wedding where I don't know who you are and you're coming up to me congratulating me. I don't want that. If I had a wedding, I would want that wedding to be like, I know every single person's name here. It is more like a party. Yeah. It is a celebration of this person and me. People who know, who know us intimately. I don't want people being like, hey, I know so-and-so from work and good to meet you. No, fuck that. I don't want that shit. That's why I've always said, I'd rather spend that fucking money on going to the Super Bowl and having a great time, okay?
Something else. It's the fucking Super Bowl. I'd be like, take me to Bali.
No, I don't want to Super Bowl.
You're insane. You and goddamn football. I can't.
I love football.
I have a I will post her.
Don't post
yelling at the TV. She goddamn sprained her wrist once because she was so pissed. She tripped over a pillow and fell and sprained her wrist.
I hurt my wrist. It was last year.
And I was just sitting here giggling because I don't understand football. Hockey, yes. Football, no.
No.
Well, dating is just a clusterfuck. That's all we really need to say about that.
It is. I think everyone will agree on that.
I also agree on that. I agree with my own statement. Okay. This was fun. This was fun.
So good. This is a fun getting to know us, first episode, how we talk and
our dating situations.
Yeah. And it could change next week. The next episode will be like, I'm not with anyone. I am just doing everything and everybody. And it is just, whatever. But it might change in the sense of I'm in your boat and you're in mine. Where you're like, I really like this guy.
Oh my God, because he does
he's just so cute. And I'm like,
well, because
that's stupid.
Yeah, because we've done a few pilots.
I know.
And each pilot.
And it's only been 3 weeks since we've been practicing.
And it's always like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to this guy.
I know.
They go like him.
Do you think that is like the dagger in the relationships that we like? We posted and it's like,
hey, listen, I told this guy that I've gone on a few dates with, I was like, dating me is not going to be for the faint of heart because I will be talking about past relationships. I will be talking about sexual things from people in my past. I will be talking about blah, 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 whatever. And he was like, cool. I don't care. And I'm like, you will. And he's like, no, I won't. And I'm like, but you will.
Just you wait.
For real. I know, like, no, like, we all have our shit. Like, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's
I think
cool
it's
though. If he's really like behind that,
You know, and he's
standing
like
behind it,
shows
that's
a lot of confidence, right?
Yeah.
And like, and that's really
the guy that I'm talking to right now too knows that we're doing a podcast, and he's super excited for us. But at the same time, I'm like, are you gonna be excited? Are you
excited. Are you actually gonna be?
We'll see.
Yeah.
So on our next episode, we will see where we're at.
Yeah, we'll see
And I
where
think
we're
that's
at.
gonna be the best part of our podcast is it will be very different week to week.
Oh my God.
because
No.
we will both be in different.
We have ADD when it comes to dating. That's really what's happening.
No, we have whiplash.
Oh my God, we have all of the goddamn
We're talking about the whiplash, guy. We have whiplash.
We have all of the whiplash.
But do you have anything else you want to say before we say goodnight to everybody?
I don't think so, but I do think that in our next episode, we're going to be talking about what women want in relationships and bedroom compared to what men want in the relationships and in the bedroom.
And we'll be getting advice. Go on our Instagram, go on our Facebook.
Yes.
We're going to post little snippets where you can ask the questions, both men and women, because
Message us.
Yeah, our POV is, I mean, we're women,
just
obviously, like we know what we want and like specifically for us, but I would really like to hear a male's perspective.
I would.
They want
opinions
and like really honest one
on there today. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm excited to hear about it and to talk about it.
I am too. We just need vulnerable people who we will never use anybody's names ever.
No.
Once you get to know the podcast even more, and once we put out more episodes, you'll understand that everyone has a nickname. But please do go to our Instagram, follow us on not_so_secret_lives. And then on Facebook, we're at Not So Secret Lives Podcast. On YouTube, Not So Secret Lives Podcast, I want to say. We will link everything in the description. We would love to hear your feedback. If it's negative, we'll probably just sit back with a glass of wine and laugh. But any feedback is good.
No, yeah, we want to hear it.
Yeah.
This is our point of view. Other people have different opinions, and that's what's so great about this world and about our podcast is not everyone has to agree with us. And
and not so great about this generation though, because everyone seems to be getting offended, and I don't love it, but it's cool because we don't get offended.
well, we're in our 40s.
Yeah, we don't give a shit anymore. We've given up all hope.
No. Well, cheers to us.
Cheers to us, and please, if there's anything you can take away from any of this, we didn't touch on it tonight, but please stay safe. Whenever you go out on dates, make sure your bestie always has your location.
Yes.
If it doesn't feel right in your gut, don't do it. Always make sure that you're in communication with your friends. Send them the picture of the person that you're going on a date with. You find your voice.
So you can be like, if I die, this is where I am.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
This was the guy that did it.
Yes. That is in the dating world we live in. That's just like such a vital piece of information. I feel like that I can spread, or that we can spread, because it's something you and I religiously do.
Yes.
And yeah, just stay safe, please. I mean,
Stay safe, girl.
don't be like me. Don't go on random dates and not tell anybody. We love you guys. We appreciate your support so much. Don't be like Shan, be like Karina.
I love you.
I love you.
Oh,
Cheers.
Cheers. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Dun, dun, dun.
To whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worry. I get it, the odds seem stacked back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines.